was our very own LUM student. Very nice history. Okay, Deep, so welcome everybody to a very exciting 5 days ahead. So this is going to be a spring school on water system science and practice. I probably would know, I am Dr. Mohammed Abu Bakr. I am the director of WIT as well as an associate professor here at LUMS. I hope you have been tracking our website, lots of events going on, lots of new activities coming up. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to very briefly talk about the center, as well as give you an overview of what this school is about, give you sort of a general orientation and some instructions on how we're going to conduct this school. First of all, those of you who are coming to LUM for the very first time, this is a very quick overview. LUMS, as you may know, this is Pakistan's second private university, founded in '85 as a non-profit organization. You've seen the campus now. I'm not pretty sure on what the latest numbers are because every time I update my slides, they keep going up and up. So this is still a very small number as compared to public universities in Pakistan, but I would say this is a healthy number and growing. So about maybe 5,000 students, 35% women. Again, I'm not too sure about what the current number is on this, but there are a lot of people are living on campus. We pride ourselves on being not only a private university, but a private university which is very conscious about its mission. So the mission is not to make paisa, hopefully. We are here for a larger mission. So for example, we are giving a lot of need-based and merit-based financial assistance to students. And this is something that we are very proud of. Looking at the student and the faculty quality, faculty is the brightest and the best in Pakistan, from best places in the world. The university is organized around 4 schools at the moment. So originally it was set up as a business school, the SGSP or the Sulaiman Dawood School of Business. Then we added 3 more schools to it. So the school that you are sitting at the moment in is called the School of Science and Engineering, or the Sayyid Babar Ali School of Science and Engineering, as we call it. This was established in 2008 after years of really thinking over what we need to do different about science and engineering scene in Pakistan. And I will let the dean, when we will meet the dean in a day or two, he will explain more about the philosophy of science and engineering here at LUMS. But that is a very exciting venture, and the center is currently housed in that school. Now we have 2 other schools, the Humanities and Social Sciences schools. So the Mushtaq Gurmani School of Humanities and Social Sciences, again, very able colleagues in economics, in humanities, in other social sciences disciplines are helping us out with the center. Our newest school is the law school. You must have seen the new building right at the entrance of at the exit gate. So that is the new school that is being set up. So feel free to trace the activities of the school, different schools, as well as other units inside the campus by visiting this website. So the very brief overview. Now, within this context, we set up the water center. We are calling it as the Center for Water Informatics and Technology. And this is a little overview of, well, what were the unique strengths at LUMS that enabled us to set up this center. So first of all, I wanted to again emphasize that we have a very vibrant school within which there are departments, a very strong computer science and electrical engineering group, which is doing a lot of work in informatics, as the center calls it. And of course, sort of allied disciplines in ICT, other information technology related ideas. And then we have a lot of multidisciplinary teams working in biology, in chemistry, in physics, in mathematics, and a lot of them are actually surprisingly doing a lot of work. So for example, we have a very strong group in bioinformatics, and we have some very good analytical people in chemistry, in physics. And math. So there is a lot of support for us to be able to do what we are setting out to do. Then I wanted to very quickly point out that in the business school we have an agri-business emphasis. There is actually a certificate program that has been going on for a couple of years, which was one of the sort of motivations for us to go into this and sort of think now not agriculture but really the water issues as one of the major components for the agriculture. Then in the Mushtaq Gurmani School of Humanities and Social Sciences, we have a very strong group working on agricultural policy and economics research. Again, this was something which was going on even before the school, before the center was set up. And let's not forget about our colleagues in social sciences and law. We have a lot of interesting work is going on in philosophy, in history, gender, culture. Again, all of the topics that are very important for water. And then very recently we have set up a Center for Entrepreneurship. So again, this is a very important leg for us to stand on, because without the sort of support in the university to be able to commercialize technologies, to be able to take out academic ideas, but now out to the business world to actually implement them. So the Entrepreneurship Center is there, and also there is a very good support from the Office of Sponsored Programs and Research. So which is, at other universities we call it as ORIC, we call it as our OST. Okay, so this was really the context in which the school was set up. Now the Center for Water Informatics and Technology, this was inaugurated in January. I was playing a little inauguration video just before start of this session, something that we did in January, very exciting event. So this is going to be a new initiative, or it is actually a new initiative, building on previous success and now really diving into new avenues. The research teams at the moment, so these are our focus areas. We are very conscious of the interdisciplinary nature of, so it's going to be an interplay between the physical, the technological, the social, the institutional and economic processes to develop innovative approaches in, well, first of all, as the name suggests, it is a very unique center. It is a water center, but led by an electrical engineer and a sort of other people who are involved are very sort of electrical engineering, computer science sort of oriented. So we are placing a lot of interest on hydroinformatics. Hydroinformatics as, for example, bioinformatics as a discipline, you can take that as a sort of template for it. But really the use of these ICT technologies into water sector, into agriculture and so on. So water smart agriculture, again, falling into that category. Then a lot of really systems analysis to understand nexus of water with food, with climate change, with energy, with environment. And then really to think about these things in terms of public policy and economics, and even social sciences disciplines. So I will play a little video to just maybe give an outline of what we are aiming to do. Then I'll move on to the agenda for this.
Water is critical for a country's existence. Pakistan is facing major water challenges, and the country needs to provide adequate water for agriculture, industry, and human consumption in the face of rapidly deteriorating reserves. These challenges around water management are impacted by climate change and an increasing need for sustainable economic development. Against this backdrop, the Center for Water Informatics and Technology has been established at the Syed Babar Ali School of Science and Engineering at Lungs. The center aims to serve as a hub with a focus on hydroinformatics and systems analysis while engaging the next generation of water practitioners and academics in multidisciplinary research teams and innovative technologies.
This idea of looking at these water problems from the point of view of water economics is maybe the first step. So combine this with very fundamental scientific knowledge, sort of scientific knowledge that we are very proud of sort of developing at our School of Science and Engineering. That does not just include hydrology and hydraulics as one discipline, but there are so many other scientific perspectives that can be brought in really formulate these problems in such a way that can be translated into economic goals and so on and so forth. That is actually the first step. Now, in parallel, what we can do is that we can use these new information and communication technologies as these water community is beginning to call as hydroinformatics, meaning a marriage of hydro and information technology. And what that can help us to do is to actually come up with a lot of data, a lot of gadgets, systems, algorithms, methods to do what? Well, to look at every nook and corner of our river basins, to measure things very, very fast. And then that will actually generate the sort of information that can be integrated. And then that's the key third step. So we formulate the problems using good science in terms of good water economics, and then we come up with some key hydroinformatic tools to really look at these problems, to be able to play with those problems. And the third and the final step is really to synthesize all of this information. So how do we actually solve those problems using these hydroinformatics aids that we have, by which we are able to look at spatial-temporal problem at unprecedented scale, really. And what would be the outcome of that? Well, the outcome of that would be that once you look at all of this, and this process, by the way, is called as systems analysis or integrated systems analysis, in which we are discovering new critical pathways, how things are going around and interacting with each other. And as I said, the output of this would be what? Technology interventions. Well, these are the things that need to be done. This can also be policy advice, advice to the government, advice to the basin managers, advice to the agencies. And these are the steps that need to be taken by which the cost function that we have set up using water economics can be minimized. Now, I will actually go even further than this as a very grand objective for the center. Although whatever that I have just described is actually quite bold in itself. Now, the step further from there is that what, as I described earlier, is such a big problem and it has such big dimensions. It actually links with every other developmental problem that Pakistan faces, or for that matter, most of the world faces. And to be able to see these water problems alone is not really the way to go forward. And these water problems have interconnections, these so-called feedback loops, with all of these grand challenges from climate change, from food security, from urbanization, and so on and so forth. And this so-called nexus of water with food, with energy, with the environment, this is the way to look at these water problems in sort of an integrated systems analysis way. Recording this video actually saves me from saying the same things over again. So, okay, so that was what the center was all about. You know, hopefully now you kind of see what the context of the school is like. We are setting for ourselves an objective to look at these problems from a very, very wide angle, sort of integrating many, many disciplines, and that is what we will try to now maybe achieve. I don't know. We will see at the end of the school whether we are able to do that or not. So currently, this is the overview for the spring school. It's composed of 4 modules. As you can see, that there is one module which is the science of water, the hydrology part. There is one module which is the systems part, the systems analysis. There is one module about the technology, different water technologies, be they related to quality or measuring quantity, and then something about the practice, the water law, the water ethical frameworks, and so on. So these 4 modules are going to be led by our main instructors, who I will shortly introduce. There are 3 very exciting invited lectures. One lecture is today by Sayyid Babar Ali Saab, who is going to talk very generally, very broadly about these water and sustainability issues and educational problems really related to them. There is going to be a very interesting lab tour on day 2. We will show you a few things live, these hydroinformatics tools as I was mentioning. And then on day 3, we have a field visit to a facility in Nestle. Again, if there are Nestle folks around, we are really thankful to them for arranging this. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later on. And then on day 4, we have a poster session. Again, I totally understand that everybody wants to share information with each other, and there is not going to be much room there for everybody to come to the podium and talk. So we have reserved a lunch session as a poster session, so lunch is going to be served there, and then meanwhile we can talk to each other and have a little bit of networking. On day 5, we have a very exciting World Water Day celebration. So this is a sort of a semi-independent event in which, so it's open to public. Feel free to invite others who may have missed the school, and they can join us for these celebrations. So this is being organized jointly us and WWF and Nestle. Okay. These are our main instructors. So I'm showing you the photographs so that you at least will know who the people are. You have the biographies with you as small handouts. So Asif Saab is coming from Europe. He's just completed his PhD from Cambridge, just a few days back actually. Congratulations to Dr. Asif. We have Dr. Iftikhar Chaudhary coming from Master Institute. He's our lead water technologist. Professor Afeen Siddiqui is at MIT. He has also arrived just this morning. I myself will be helping out Iftikhar for the water technology module. And then for the practice part, we have Mr. Rafi Alam, who is going to lead that module. And then Leila here is going to help Rafi to deliver that module. So these are the main instructors. Let me just very quickly go through the agenda. You will have the copies of the agenda with you, but let me just sort of give you main highlights. So we currently are doing the welcome remarks. We are going to shortly start with our first module, lecture 1, which is going to be given by Dr. Asif. This is going to be something about hydrology. Now the format is going to be that we will be posting all of this material on a course wiki, which I'll shortly show you. Also, we will be giving you the handouts in print before the lectures. So hopefully these lectures will be ready in time for you to be able to give them to you. But then there's going to be our open. And then so there are a couple of sessions here on hydrology. Then we have lunch break. Then we go into module 3, lecture 1, which is the introduction to water technology, followed by invited speaker conversation with Babar Ali Saab. So this is first day. Again, we purposely kept it a little light, sort of a slow introduction, so to speak. Day 2, we're starting 9 a.m. With an introduction to system analysis with Dr. Afeen Siddiqui. Then Dr. Asif will continue with his module to talk about hydrology and hydrological modeling. We are expecting an invited address by Hamad Nafi Khan Saab, who is leading WWF in Pakistan. We have yet to receive a title from him, but hopefully we will announce that very soon. So tomorrow will be the lab tour day, in which, first of all, I will give a little introduction to water informatics and smart infrastructures, and then we will go around. We will see a few live demos. We will visit some labs and see what this bioinformatics business is all about. Day 3, we again start with Dr. Asif's lecture, continuing on the hydrology part. Then Dr. Afeen will come in and talk about multi-objective decision making. And then before lunch, Dr. Iftikhar will talk something about water quality monitoring and purification technology. So that will set the scene for the field trip to the Nestle factory in Sheikhupura. So we will, Iftikhar of course will be outlining what these water technologies are, and then we will see those technologies sort of live in a particular facility at Nestle. So this is going to be maybe about 3 to 4 hours trip. I think maybe about 45 minutes going there, spending 2.5 to 3 hours there, and then coming back. Maybe a little bit more than 4 hours. Then day 4 is starting with Dr. Afi, continuing with the systems analysis. Then Mr. Afi Anand will come in, starting the module 4. So he will be talking about international water law. Then we have this very exciting poster session, as I was mentioning. So we will go into lunch, but then the lunch will be served at where the poster session is going to be organized. And then we have a very good invited seminar by Dr. Arif Anwar, who, as many of you would know, leads IWMI, the International Water Management Institute. He'll be talking about operations research tools and irrigation management. And then finally, Mr. Afi Anand will close the day with something about Pakistan's water law. Okay. Now, day 5, this is the final day. Dr. Iftihar will start in the morning with water treatment and water recovery. And then Laila will come in to close the module started by Mr. Rafe, something about policy analysis and conflict negotiation, some exciting game theory. And then after lunch or Juma, Dr. Afeen Siddiqui and Mr. Asif will actually close the school by really presenting the nexus, the water, energy, food nexus, and sort of bringing everything to a conclusion. And so the school will sort of formally end here, but then following this, there is going to be a World Water Day related event. This is, as I mentioned, this is jointly organized by WWF, Nestle, and us. And we have a very exciting group of people who are going to join us. So Dr. Parvez Ahmed, Dr. Kausar Abdullah Malik, Dr. Arif Anwar again, Dr. Kiran Farhan, and Ali Hassan Sayyid from WWF. So these are the people who are going to join us for this panel discussion. And I think this will also serve as our closing ceremony. So those of you who will be receiving certificates, we will do a little closing ceremony within this World Water Day event. So this is going to be a public event. Again, those of you who want to invite their friends or colleagues to do this particular event, feel free to do so. Some general information. All of the lectures are going to be here in this venue, so we are not going anywhere else. For the poster sessions, we'll go to the basement, but we will give instructions on how to get there. Something very important. So today, as you have come in, you have done your registration. So everybody is carrying this name tag. So for people who are not affiliated with LUMS, this is your entry to LUMS for the next few days. So keep this very keep it safe, I would say, and wear it while moving into the campus. So that way your access will be very fast. Otherwise, you will get into all sort of hassle with checking the list and all with the we will be giving you meal coupons. So your folder that you are holding, it has a few lunch coupons. So avail them for lunch at the Pepsi Dining Center. So at lunchtime, please accompany whoever is going to lunch. We will show you where this Pepsi Dining Center is. There is a bit of an attendance policy, especially those sorts of two groups. One who is claiming credit for attending. So there are about maybe 15 to 20 LUM students who are taking this course for credit actually. So they are getting 1 credit hour for attending this school. So for them it is necessary that they take the twice daily attendance. We will be sort of distributing an attendance sheet. Please sign that attendance sheet. And also those who want to claim certificates. If you don't want to claim certificate, then by all means do whatever you want to do. But if you want to claim certificate at the end, please make sure that you fill the attendance sheet, circulate it twice during the day. Well, just a little bit about the lecture hall policy, although I don't think it needs to be reminded, but I'm reminding myself because I just switched off my cell phone. It is strongly advised that mobile phones be switched off during lecture. It's going to be 4 or 5 days. We get to ignore these little facts, but just reminding you. So this lecture hall is not the greatest place for a lot of people coming in and coming out all the time. So again, if you want to attend a session, please be seated during the session unless there is some emergency or whatever. Please remain seated inside. Again, I would again finally just remind everybody that all of our guest lecturers from outside of LUM, so please show your respect to the speakers by avoiding conversation among yourselves. So these are just very common sense things, but I just wanted to remind you. Okay, this is very, very important. Now, all of the course material is being posted on a little wiki, and I will show you a little demo. So all the slides for the presentations, all of the reading materials, they are going to be posted there. This is the website which is accessible to the public, meaning that not only you but others can also access. So you can access from anywhere. It's not an internal LUMS website, but feel free to show this to other people as well. I'll show you very quickly what the website looks like. So this is the address. By the way, all of this information is in the information pack that you have just received. So so this is the by the way, is not the big main website. This is the wiki. As you can see, this looks and feels very much like Wikipedia. So this is your main sort of link to go for getting all of the things that you are getting in print. So for example, this pre-arrival information that you just have in your folders, that is here. All of the course modules, their curricula, they are also there for you to print out if you want to see or see them later. Then instructor bios are here. And then also the schedules are given there. Now this is going to be a live document which is going to be updated as the school progresses. So for example, you will see a lot of empty slots here at the moment, but so the welcome address has happened and you can see the slides that I was just showing. These slides are all uploaded here. Slides for the first module has also been uploaded here. And so if you just go and click on that, this lecture material is going to be available. Okay. So again, feel free to look at all of this material before and after this. It's very easy to use. Just for example, and giving you another example. So this is one information that we have received. So Rafe's first lecture on international water law. So all of the, for example, the reading material, the references, we are providing the links for you to go and directly link and get the information. So this is going to be a very useful sort of place for you to go to. All right. So like I said, that certificates of completeness or claiming this attendance for the school for credit hours, please feel free, not only feel free, but actually maybe please make sure to do your attendance. Also, there are going to be some feedback surveys, and some instructors are choosing to do assessments as well. So if you, especially those who want to claim certificates and want to get credit hours, you have to complete those surveys and participate in those assessments. All right, so I just wanted to make this very sort of final announcement. Is there anyone here who is taking this course for CPD, Continued Professional Development? So that was your attention? Okay, can you raise your hand? How many are here for CPD?
CPD relates to PhD.
So that's the Pakistan Engineering Council Continued Professional Development kind of thing. Okay, so we are currently, we haven't finished the negotiation with Pakistan Engineering Council on that. Again, so be aware that this is still something in progress. So no promises at the moment. We will try our best to get that for you. But really, if you are here just to get a 100% guarantee on that we will be able to get you that, I'm flagging this at the moment that so there is a 5% or a 10% chance this may not happen. So just flagging this for you. Okay, we will try our best to get it for you. So also those of you who are or LUMS students who are taking this for credit, can I see your hands? That's very good. That's very good. And finally, so for the Nestle factory visit, we have a limited seating capacity. So what I'm going to ask you is that there's going to be a sign-up sheet outside. And those of you who are interested, please show your intention that you want to go. Because if you don't want to go, of course, you no need to do that. So if you are interested in going to that Nestle factory visit, please do, because then we will have to limit the participation somehow. Or we will make requests and accordingly somehow figure that out. Okay, so anything related to the logistics? Any questions? Any queries? Something that I have not covered before I hand over to Dr. Asif? Okay, so once again, welcome to the school. Very quickly, I myself am your point of contact. All of you know about Soban, who is outside making all the arrangements. The guy is very, very busy, but again, bug him by all means for any sort of logistics related things. Then we have two very able staff members. So Leila, can you just sort of stand up, just to introduce yourself. So Leila is our staff member at WIT and Nimra, if you can. So again.
If you have any questions, you can just come out
Right.
to us.
And where is Talha? Talha is a PhD student and a WIT staff member here. Zahood? Where is Zahood? Oh, he just went outside. Okay. So I'm just sort of introducing you to all of these 4 or 5 critical people. If you have any queries or any other questions related to logistics, please feel free to ask us.